Hello, again with another story. Wanted to talk for a few moments about nonfiction books. So we know nonfiction books are what kind of books, boys and girls? Yes, nonfiction reels. So stories that are real. Normally, when we think of nonfiction, we think of books that give us exact information. So, nonfiction text or writing that gives facts about a topic. So, if I look at this dog book about Irish wolfhounds, this story or this book tells us facts about them. What they look like when they're grown, what they eat, how their puppies look, how old they live to be, what they like to do for fun, all kinds of information. So, this kind of nonfiction book is an informational nonfiction book. But there is another kind of nonfiction book I also want to talk about, and that is called a narrative nonfiction or nonfiction narrative. It can go either way. That is text or writing that includes facts, but is read like a fictional story. So there's a start, a beginning, a middle, and an end, like a story, but it is a true story. A lot of times, nonfiction narratives or narrative nonfictions are written about things where you might not have every minute of detail of what happened, but there's enough eyewitness accounts, people seeing and writing down what they saw, and were able to write a story about it. So, my story today is a narrative nonfiction. It is a true story, but instead of just saying, here's a cat, this is what happened, this is when it happened, and that is it, it tells like a story. So my story today is called Hero Cat. Hero Cat. Notice the gold sticker. It's getting worn because this book has been checked out so many times, but it was a Show Me Award winner back, oh goodness, it's been a while. I'd say close to 8 or 10 years ago. Still a great story though. Great stories are like that. They can last long times. So here we go with Hero Cat by Eileen Spinelli. She's the author. And the illustrator is Joella McAllister Stamen. The other thing I'll note about nonfiction narratives is that often you'll have drawn pictures because there just wasn't enough photographs. People didn't take enough pictures at the time something was happening to make a whole story with real pictures. So you'll get illustrations instead in nonfiction narratives often. There's a dedication. I'd like to show you that it's not part of the story yet, but the picture is kind of, because you can tell she's a pregnant mama cat, kind of big there. So here we go. Hero Cat is the name again. It was March, cold and slushy, time for Mother Cat to have her kittens. Seeking shelter, she dragged herself into an old garage. Hiss! Snarled an old tomcat, shooing her away. Oh, she's a stray cat. She doesn't have a place to call home and go to have her kittens. She's just looking for a warm, dry spot. Next, she tried a back alley shed. Scat, cat, said two boys who were trading cards. So they didn't want her in there either. At last, she came to a dark, abandoned building. Abandoned means nobody's in it. No one was there to chase her. Mother Cat laid down on some old rags with only her own breath for warmth. She's got cold. Amid dusty machinery and empty cartons and rain puddling under the door, she gave birth to her precious kittens, 5 of them, black and white, gray, Siamese, White Paws, and Smoky. 5 kitties. Mother Cat nursed and cuddled them. She purred starry lullabies and licked clean their silky fur. She's been a good mama cat. The days passed and Mother Cat grew hungry. She nosed her kittens into a cozy heap and left the garage to look for food. After swallowing a few fishtails and some stale cheese, she hurried back. Along the way, she heard fire engines. She smelled smoke. Then she saw the flames coming from the dark, abandoned building. The kittens! Plunging through thick smoke, she ran inside. She heard frightened mewing. There was Black and White, huddled against the wall. The kitten whimpered as Mother Cat carried her out the door. You know what a whimper is? So she found one, carrying him outside to where there's fresh air and safety. She dropped Black and White on the wet patch of grass and raced back. Hot boards scorched her paws. Scorched burned them. Smoke made her eyes burn. She found Gray and carried him out to the sidewalk. 3 kittens left. She's got 2 out and 3 to go. Into the smoke and flames again. Tiny cries. Siamese. There. Yes. Out safe. It's 3 out. The wind was rising. Greasy windows popped. Mother Cat went back. She heard crying in the rags that had been their bed. White Paws. Mother Cat lifted him with her mouth, safe at last with his brothers and sisters. Fire flared skyward. One more kitten, Smokey. Heart racing, Mother Cat returned to the building. No cry, no scent. No scent, she can't smell him because of all the smoke. She can't see because of all the smoke. So she's trying to hear, but with the men and the fire noise and the water spraying, it's hard to even hear. Smokey! She stumbled into him. That means stumbled into him. Tiny ball of fur in the corner, hardly breathing. She carried Smokey outside, dumped him with the others, and collapsed, exhausted, so tired. Her paws were all burned up from touching hot burn boards. Hours later, Mother Cat woke up in a soft blanketed box. She could smell and feel her kittens around her. She pressed her nose against each one, all together with Mother Cat once more. A photographer took a picture of them. Cute kittens, he said. Brave cat, said a firewoman. A fireman knelt by the box and patted Mother Cat on the head. More than brave, he said. This cat is a hero cat. And there is the picture of the actual picture they took after they got her. You can see how beat up she is from the fire. Her kittens fared pretty well, but her going back and forth. But she did get better, and the story just tells that it happened in 1996, so several years ago, and somebody was able to adopt all the babies, and it ended happy. So that story was completely true. We call it a nonfiction narrative because it was told as a story. Stray animals, boys and girls. Sometimes you see dogs or cats and you know they just don't have a home. It doesn't mean that they're bad or mean necessarily. You always have to be cautious. But it doesn't mean that they're bad or mean necessarily. It just means that they haven't found somebody to love them. This mama cat, she surely loved her babies, even though she was a stray cat and didn't have somebody to love her. She knew what it meant to be a good mama. So, did you like that story? I know not all stories are happy in the middle of it and you get a little anxious, like, oh no, this is so sad. But it did end happy, and I'm glad for that. So, do you think it deserved to win the award? I think so. I like stories like this. Happy endings. Anyway, that's Hero Cat. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.